Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Bergevin, and today I'm going to teach you about representing and solving division problems requiring a decomposition of a remainder in the tens column. First, let's start with some review. Group counting is being able to count up by 2s to 20, 3s to 30s, and so on and so forth. I can do 2 to 20 for you. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Next is dividing mentally. Dividing mentally is where I ask you a question like, what's 40 divided by 2? And I want you to be able to say 40 is 4 tens divided by 2 ones, which would give you 2 tens, which is 20, which is the answer. Next is a standard algorithm, where I give you like a problem, 24 divided by 2, and I want you to be able to divide it. So in these problems, you always start at the largest place value, which would be the tens, and it goes 2 into 2, 2 go once, of course, and then you write down 20. You subtract 20 from 24, which will give you 4, and 2 goes into 4 twice, which gives you 12, and there's no remainder. So 12 is your answer. Let's start off with an easy question. What's 3 divided by 2? I know many of you can do this in your head already, and you'll be like 1, remainder 1. But I want you to be able to show it as a place value chart, which I know many of you struggle with. So let's first write out what 3 divided by 2 is. 3 is 3 units, signified by the 3 red dots in the ones column. And 2 is the 2 groups you're dividing 3 equally amongst, signified by the blue 1 and 2. So what I want you to do is move one of the red dots to one group and move the other one to the other group. But you may be like looking at yourself now, you're like, oh no, I have an extra red dot. What am I going to do? I can't cut it in half because that's against the rules of what we're learning right now. So what do? You write as a remainder. So you're going to have 1 remainder 1, and that's your answer. So let's try a harder question. What's 30 divided by 2? I drew 30 as 3 dots in the tens column, which signifies 30 because it's 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. And the 2 groups are signified by the blue 1 and 2, like in the other problem. So what are you going to do? You are going to move one group of 10 to one group, and then the other group of 10 to the other group. So you're going to have 1 dot in each group. Oh no, you're left with 1 group left over. Again, what do? This time you don't write it as a remainder, but you actually move it to the ones column, where, as you should know by now, 1 10 is equal to 10 ones. So you draw out 10 little red dots. And what do you do from here? Once again, you'll move, add a dot at a time, each dot into 2 groups. So hopefully you can do this in your head. There are 10 dots here, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, or 5 dots in each group. So what's your answer? 30 divided by 2 is 1, 10, and 5 ones. See, when you get an answer, you always just want to look at one group. And so let's just look at 1 for right now. And you see there's 1 dot in the tens and 5 dots in the ones. So that is 10 plus 5, and that is 15. So your answer is 15. So, and like a way of saying this is you have 15 units per one group. So here's another problem. I'm giving you 75 divided by 3. So what's that's represented in a place value chart? 75 is 7 tens and 5 ones. And we're dividing them equally between 3 groups, which I drew using blue, and the units are red again. So let's start off the way we did with the previous question and separate all the tens into 3 groups. So 1 goes here, here, and here, and then we can do that again, where we get 2 dots in each group. So that means there's 20, at least 20 in each group. But there's still this 1 left over. So again, like in the previous question, I want you to move it to the ones place and show that it is 10 ones. And then after that, we're actually going to move to the ones place and do the same thing as we did in the tens place, like in the previous question. So how many ones do we actually have now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you guys should know that 15 divided by 3, because it's on your division table, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So you're going to have 5 dots in each group. That is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is your answer? So how many are in each group? I said there's at least 20, so we know there has to be a 2 here, because the 2 dots in the 10 signifies that there are 20. And then there are 5 dots in each of the ones groups. So the answer is 25. So the answer to 75 divided by 3 is 25. So here's a problem I want you to try on your own. Take a couple seconds, pause the video, and try to figure out what is 92 divided by 4. So here's all my work for the problem I just had you do. So I drew out a place value chart because this is easiest for me. So I put 9 dots in the tens column, and then the 2 dots in the ones column, and then I distribute them equally between the 4 groups. And in the tens groups, I got 2 dots per group. So that means there's at least 20 in each group. And in the ones column, I actually had a remainder in the tens, so I had to move that to the ones column, and I drew 10 extra dots. Well, they're not extra. They're the tens decomposed into ones, and there are 10 ones for every 10. So I did the same thing as in the tens, and I brought down the dots equally in between the 4 groups. And I ended up having 3 dots per group. So that means my answer is actually 23, because I have 2 dots in the tens, which shows 20, and 3 dots in the ones, which is 3. So 20 plus 3 is 23. Thank you for watching my mathcast. My name is Anthony Bergevin. Goodbye.